Yo, what's up guys? Welcome back to the Crypto Plebs channel. It's your boy Jumpman Crypto. I hope everybody enjoyed that intro. Sometimes it's good to have a little laugh, even if it's at the expense of our portfolios. Look, real quick guys, I hardly ever show my personal Discord to you guys, but I think we're going to be running some promotions pretty soon, so please keep an eye out. The links to my Patreon are below. I think we might be running maybe 40-50% off the first month. I know a lot of people are tapping out. They're giving up hope, but look guys, I think that in Crypto Plebs, we do a lot more things different from a lot of other people. We actually show people, the charts. We have maybe once a week VC meetings. We've been used to doing, twice, 3 times a week. It's kind of slowed down a little bit, but we do plan on picking up a lot more, guys. Look, we aren't calling plays every day, but pretty much for the last few days, we've been hitting pretty good plays. But it's just a lot more than just signals, guys. We go over, hey, how to build portfolios. We give advice, maybe where you can make some adjustments with portfolios. A lot of other Discords don't do that. When you're in these Discords, guys, I've been part of these Discords, you're just basically, you're basically just left out to the wolves. You're buy this meme coin, buy this meme coin, buy this, buy that, buy this. We actually take the time to talk about each investment. There's always moderators in there that are very happy to help. So real quick, like I said, I just wanted to share that with you guys. Again, nobody's forced to ever join my Discord. I don't need anybody to join, but like I said, it's there if you guys need some help. And I just thought I would throw that out there. Okay, so again, you guys can find the Patreon. The links will be below. I'm not going to shill my page and all that other stuff like that. You guys know what it is with me, okay? But real quick, guys, we need to cover some news, crypto news and stuff like that. And like I always say, let's get into this. All right, so we have a 59% chance the U.S. will strike Iran by March 31st. Now, look, I'm not saying that everything that comes out on poly market always comes to pass, but we all kind of know already that, sometimes these insiders may be even inside the home White House, and there's money that has been made off of this kind of stuff. So we need to make sure that we keep an eye on this, okay? Look, however you feel about these war situations, guys, or even, missile strikes and stuff like that, they usually come with massive price drops, but usually these mark local bottoms where they actually present themselves to be generational buy areas. So, unfortunately, I'm not, really big into this kind of war stuff and stuff like that, guys. But, things happen around the world, and sometimes we just have to kind of roll the punches and, just make sure we're keeping an eye on our financials, okay? So, I'm not sure if we're going to be going to war. I think we can't really afford it. I don't know if you guys are pro-Trump or not. It doesn't really matter. But at the end of the day, midterms are coming up and all these kind of things like that will affect midterms. And I don't think that Trump will jeopardize, going into a full-fledged war. But at the end of the day, guys, look, anything can happen. There's talks about Taiwan and chips and stuff like that. So a lot of things are very sensitive right now. All it takes is just, something happening on the other side, and a retaliation or a stray bullet or anything like that. So at the end of the day, guys, I pray for peace. I hope that things can end up getting ironed out. But, we just got to kind of cover the news and hope to God that nothing like this comes about. Okay? So we do have a 90% chance that the Clarity Bill will be signed into place. So that is somewhat some good news. And then also Coinbase is extending its users to be able to borrow from Cardano, XRP, and a few different altcoins. So that's good news. Some bad news though, guys, is look, we're looking at the most selling pressure that we've ever had in a 5-year time frame. So this has been very massive. Charts from Coin Bureau, by the way. I think everybody kind of sees what's been going on. We've been going down since October. This has been like an accelerated drop that has been just massive. So, it just seems like, it's going on 6 months. I think we're almost getting ready to break some type of records here. So I think since 2018, if I'm not mistaken. So, it's been pretty crazy. But over here on some of the good side of the news, World Liberty Fi is planning to tokenize their international hotels in the Maldives. They're partnering with the Securitize and Dart Global. So these guys are going all in. At the end of the day, look, however you feel about the Trump family, if you think they're trying to enrich themselves or whatever, they are bullish on crypto. Now, look, this may be our Nancy Pelosi of our era. So, like I said, this is a reason why I encourage people to please don't completely capitulate out of crypto, but try to follow what these guys are doing. Okay, if you think these guys are doofuses, I get it, but you got to remember, these guys are putting up big money, and some of these institutions like Grayscale, BlackRock, and all these guys are following in suit with tokenization and all these stable coins and all this tokenized assets. These are going to be big things in the future. So I really think that people need to look down the road. Again, we talk about this all the time on my channel, that I think the average crypto investor is really trying to get rich overnight. And you have to understand that this is going to be a long waiting game. If you were in the cycle in 2022, we went from, Bitcoin to 25K, 30K multiple times, just bouncing in that range. And I see people that are just, they were just so aggravated, and trust me, I'm there too. But we have to kind of really look back to see where we were 3 years ago. We were sitting at 19K, 20K. The fact that we're going through all this and we're still at 60K is kind of amazing. So just keep that in mind, guys, every time that you kind of lose hope. And just remember, like I said, this too shall pass. Okay. Sui got ETF. Is going to be debuting tomorrow on Canary Capital. It's going to be GSUI on the NASDAQ. So if you guys like Sui, you guys can keep that on your radar. And Mr. Brian Armstrong says that the market structure is making great progress. We're getting ready to close in on a win-win scenario that targets wins for banks, crypto, and the American consumer. Now, I don't know about you, but I think that sounds like total BS. Look, I like Brian Armstrong. He has been spearheading crypto for us. But at the end of the day, guys, look, I think that all these guys are in it for themselves, and they really don't intend on helping us out. So again, this is the reason why you got to join Plebs, because we help you guys stay kind of level-headed and grounded in this crazy area. Okay, so look, we just got to kind of tread with caution. Okay, and this is what has been kind of freaking everybody out today. Billionaire island boy Peter Thiel fully exits his Ethereum treasury from ETHZilla, so he sells completely out of his stake on it. Mr. Thiel, aka Island Boy, he's out. Now, look, I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing. In my opinion, I like all these wells and stuff like that, these big, treasury companies. I like them out, because at the end of the day, guys, the more people that get out, the better. And that's just my opinion. Look, you may like institutionals inside crypto. I kind of don't. But, look, the more, the better. I feel like we need to get somewhere along the lines where, we get back to our grassroots, which is, the wild, wild west, which may not ever happen again. But, I'm not a big fan of this dude. And I think that the more bad actors like this guy that get out, the better for crypto, in my opinion, okay? And look, let's cover some crypto real quick. Give me a hot second. We'll flip back over and we'll cover just the bare necessity cryptos, okay? All right, and real quick, guys, let's check this fear and greed index. We're sitting at 11, extreme fear. So we got the average retailer, that is just shaking their boots. I hope you guys are not shaking in your boots, okay? Because if you are, that means you're super over allocated, or you just got no conviction in this space. Now, don't get me wrong, it's always good to worry, but there's a level of where it's unhealthy and just kind of like, oh crap, I don't know if that makes sense to you guys. Sometimes I'm just trying to, throw stuff on the fly. I don't edit my videos or anything like that. We keep it raw and uncut here. But look, this is historically the time to buy, though. This is not the time to be, going into hibernation and tuning out. The time to do that was back, in October. Now's the time to lock in. So look, this is the way it's looking right now. Extreme fear. Last week we were sitting at 8. So, it is what it is. Okay, Bitcoin. So remember, last video we talked about this ascending triangle. We started breaking below. We have a fair value gap right here around 67,900. Okay, if we do start pulling back out of here, which we may, the fact that we're not even above, 67,000 right now is telling us right now that markets are still real skittish. We need to keep this level on our radar, 66. Around 65,800. Okay, we lose these levels again, we're going to be coming down here to this lower 63,000, And then, like I said, we have a last line of defense down here in the 62 to 60,000. We breach that, then that's when we're coming back down, to that 54, 58K. Now, a lot of people are talking about, 35K, 48K. Again, guys, look, I don't really try to guess like that. At the end of the day, we just got to kind of go level by level. Once each level's breached, then we just reassess and we go from there. Like I said, every YouTuber's, pumping out 48K, 35K like it's candy, because that's the popular thing to do. Everybody wants to cover their own butts and stuff like that. But look, at the end of the day, I don't know. They don't know. Nobody knows. The only one that knows is the dude up there and the guy that's calling the shots. So we don't know who's calling the shots yet. It might be somebody down there across the pond, or maybe the guy that's in the office. I don't know. You tell me. But like I said, right now, that's the level that we're watching, and we need to make sure that we keep that on the radar. Let's cover Ethereum real quick. We're going to cover just some of the basic alts real quick, guys. We're not going to get too, in it because I want to save that for the members and KGU and also plebs. So like I said, you guys want, more in depth, you guys are going to have to invest in yourself and hop in and tap in with your boy. Okay, so right now we're watching this $1,900 level. We got a fair value gap down here, very small, okay, down this 1900 area. If we start, starting to crack that, again, we're going to be coming back down here to this 1800, 1750. We break those, then that's when we come down to that 1400, 1300. I got buy orders down there, larger buy orders there. And once we start getting down there, that's going to be time to start loading the boat. Not financial advice, of course, okay? Let's cover a new token real quick, because we always cover these. And let's cover Solana Big Banana. I know a lot of you guys like Solana. I like Solana, and I like it more in these areas down here around, the 78 and down here 76 zone. We got a big order block down here around 74 to 68. Remember, we called that. I told you guys, around 67 to 77 bucks was that area to load up. If we come back down there, it's going to take some nibbles. We got a green buy signal on market side for B on the 1 hour. Typically, I like to look at that 4 hour and the daily. Those are going to be your more better signals to be buying, and even have the green dot in the 4 hours. So, again, I would be nibbling, not going all in. But like I said, this is you. You have to take control of your portfolio, and you have to make the decisions for you, because at the end of the day, guys, you're the one that has to go talk to your wife or whatever, when money is missing, or if you're down 50% on your account. Because remember, look, stuff starts popping off, Sol can go back to 30 bucks easy. So just keep that in mind. Solana, okay? Let's cover XRP real quick, and then we'll hit SUI real quick, because we got some SUI news, and then we'll go and wrap it up. Quick video, fast video, in and out like a bandit, okay? I still like XRP down here around this 70, 80 cent zone. Like I said, I bought a little bit. I have a little bit, but I'm not really looking to add any more pieces until we get down there to those levels. But again, if you guys, are trying to add more to the positions, 126 is still a good area in my opinion. 117 is going to be a good level as well, okay? And then let's hit SUI real quick, and then we'll wrap it up. And then you guys can go about your merry way, and we'll see you the next time, okay? All right, look, 85 cents and 75 cents are going to be my areas that I'm going to be buying at. This is where I think we came down here back on Liberation Day, October. We flash wick down there. So again, it's making its way down here. It's like, it's like that little the X game slope right here. We're going straight down there, but it's going to be picking up 75 cents. That's where I'm going to be loading the boat at that level, okay? Again, guys, I think we have some data that's coming out on Friday. Tariff decisions are going to be made that day. I'm thinking they're going to be probably pausing it. I think this has all just been a really big spectacle. At the end of the day, I see a lot of people hopeful that they get canceled. In my opinion, I think that will cause a lot of market instability. So we just need to be careful what we wish for. And let's just hope for the best. Okay, guys, y'all make sure y'all tap in. We'll see you the next time. Laters.